All right, guys, it is officially showdown season. Super excited to talk about this slate. It's also good to be back making some videos. I was unable to play NBA DFS for 4 days. That was brutal, but it's nice to be back. We got solid, a good size contest for these showdowns. So yeah, let's do it. But if you guys are a first-time watcher, welcome to my channel. I cover content for Draftkings, NBA Top Shot, Prize Picks, Super Draft. SuperDraft is the sponsor of this video. Make sure to use that code DKDFS for a $50 match on a $50 deposit. They do a player prop stuff where you can win up to 20 extra money, as well as multiplier format contest. And then if you guys are looking for more in-depth content for DFS, cover NBA, USFL had another great week, and then esports, that is linked down below. And this was the last day I was able to play. So what, this was Wednesday night? Or this is Thursday? Wednesday night. Phenomenal night, almost took down, was a couple points away from taking down. And yeah, like I said, it's been a phenomenal playoffs. And we're hoping to keep it going for the showdown season, like I said. So we got Boston, Miami, tomorrow. And then we have Dallas and Golden State, which I am so excited for that series. As far as the Vegas total goes, here, let me refresh this. See where we're at here for game one. So pretty low total, and it's not a big surprise. Both teams are good defensively. Boston, Miami, 203.5 over under, with Miami being 1.5 point favorites. But let's start it off with the Boston side. So injury news. We did already get confirmation that Robert Williams is in, and there's going to be no minutes restriction for Robert Williams. And then Marcus Smart apparently has a foot sprain. Injured that in Game 7. So we'll see if he's able to go. If I had to guess, I would say he plays because Marcus Smart's pretty tough. But that would open up some more value here if he's out. So first, starting with the guys at the top, you have Tatum at 12K, Brown at 9.2. I expect both to play around 40 minutes or so. With Jaylen Brown at this price point probably being a little bit easier to get to on this showdown. There's really not a lot of value. We'll get to value, but there's not a lot of great salary relief plays. So, $3,000 savings between Brown and Tatum is pretty big. So I think Brown's going to be a little bit easier to get to. Obviously, you have the salad. If you have the salad for Tatum, I have no issue. But 12K is definitely a hefty price for Tatum. Scrolling down below those two. So Horford at 8K, feels a little bit pricey, especially with Robert Williams coming back. Now, minutes for Horford, he played massive minutes in that Milwaukee series. Maybe he doesn't play 40 minutes a game. Maybe goes back to 35 or so minutes. But yeah, at 8K, he's kind of just a play I'm indifferent about. Marcus Smart, if he ends up playing at 7.6, I would feel pretty good about him. Obviously, the only real concern would be, how healthy is he? But minutes for Smart, should play around 40 or so minutes. He's a guy that, can contribute in a lot of different ways. We saw almost a triple-double from him last game. So if Smart plays, I like him. Now, if Smart misses, there's two guys that's really going to give a significant boost to. Number one, Derrick White would start and become a phenomenal value play at 5.2. He's, been playing somewhere around 20 to 30 minutes in the playoffs so far. There's a few stretches of games where he played around 30 minutes. Obviously, really struggled from the field last game, so he only played 18. But on average, you probably get around that. Now, if Marcus Smart is out, you would get Derrick White starting and probably playing 35 or so minutes. So he would look good. And then you would get a little bit of a minutes bump here for Pritchard, who would most likely play somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 minutes off the bench if Marcus Smart can't go. So those two would get the big minutes bump there. Grant Williams had a massive game last game. He had been quiet for the last 3 games and comes out and goes for 41 fantasy points, makes 10 shots, 7 threes, which we're probably not going to see again from Grant Williams. And minutes-wise for Williams, I think we get, around 30. He's obviously one of the better defenders. He could probably guard Jimmy. He could even guard Bam Adebayo at times. So I think he's kind of just there for me. I think last game was definitely an outlier game. Now, Robert Williams at 4.8 is the better point per minute guy of the two. I don't know if he plays as many minutes, but if we get 22 to 25 minutes from Robert Williams, I think it makes him stand out as a really good value play. Again, good shot blocker, good rebounder. So, yeah, I like Robert Williams quite a bit, especially with that news that there's no limit on his minutes. Now, again, I don't know if he plays more than like 25 or so minutes, but doesn't really need to at that price. So he really stands out as a good value play. Pritchard, I would probably only go there if Smart is out. If Smart is in, you might only get like 10 or so minutes from Pritchard, which I don't know if it would be enough on this showdown. And then with Robert Williams back, I think Tice gets a DNP, and that's really it. I don't expect anyone else to be in the rotation here for Boston. So let's move on to Miami. Miami, you have Jimmy Butler at 10-8, so you're getting him like over $1,000 discount off of Jason Tatum, which I think makes Jimmy Butler look really, really good. Expect, low 40s minutes for Jimmy Butler. He played 43 minutes last game in a closeout against Philadelphia. So, sure, matchup's not as good against Boston, but Jimmy is still their clear go-to guy. You've seen guys, Lowry is not expected to play, and Hero's really struggled off the bench. Jimmy Butler's just had to do more. So I think he makes for a very, very safe play there at the top. Now, with Kyle Lowry, I'm not expecting him to play. He didn't practice on Monday. He's just been doing individual work on the side. So I don't think it's a good sign for him to play. If he does play, it's really going to affect, value plays. Gabe Vincent would be completely out of play. It would make Oladipo and Hero a lot riskier. Max Strus would probably lose minutes. We'll get to that in a sec. Still in just immense amount of pain from his most recent game. But so we'll monitor that status. But again, I'm not expecting Lowry to play in this one. Bam Adebayo is 8-4. I mean, we should get about 35 or so minutes. He goes from like Joel Embiid to like Robert Williams or Horford. I know, Horford's still pretty solid defender. Robert Williams not a bad defender either, but I think it's maybe a little bit of a better spot for Bam since he doesn't have to deal with Joel Embiid. So again, minutes-wise, low to mid-30s minutes for Bam. I think kind of makes him a neutral option there for me. Max Strus, come on with that stat line, right? Come on. Almost a triple-double for a scoring-dependent Max Strus. After I go out and say, okay, there's no way Strus is getting double-digit rebounds again. Now it's an outlier. He goes for 11 rebounds. Come on, right? You just look at Max Strus for a whole regular season, right? He's not an awful rebounder for guard, but he's pretty scoring-dependent. Comes out, almost gets a triple-double. Like, come on, right? So, with Max Strus, minutes-wise, I think low 30s is a fair guess. I would be pretty surprised if he plays 40 minutes again. Sorry about that. But, yeah, so Strus probably, you might have some people chase him. I'll continue to fade. If Max Strus goes for like a triple-double again, I'll just lose in the showdown. So be it. He's priced at a premium. I don't expect him to play that well again. I know he's played very well last couple games, but he's priced now, like I said, at an all-time high. I would rather go elsewhere. Now, Hero, I mentioned, has really been struggling. Just not been shooting the ball well and only played 16 minutes last game, which is a pretty big surprise because on average, he's been playing, somewhere around 30 or so minutes. So, like, for me, I would rather play Hero than Max Strus. Especially if Strus is going to get more ownership, I'd rather go to Tyler Hero off the bench. As long as he doesn't play bad, I think we get 25 to 30 minutes from Hero. So I think he makes for a nice bounce back candidate. Oladipo at 6'2", did only play 20 minutes last game. A little bit concerning there. On average, I do think we get around 25 or so minutes. Again, that's assuming Kyle Lowry's out, which I think makes him a fair option. He is a guy that can be a playmaker, obviously. So I think he's in play if Lowry's out. Going down a little bit more. So once again, I'm still in just so much pain from PJ Tucker. I play him here. Philadelphia, 9 fancy points, massive foul trouble. Next 2 games, absolutely smashes. Now with Tucker, you're going to be confident about the minutes, right? Because he's one of their, if not their best defenders. So he can guard Tatum, he can guard Jaylen Brown, he can basically guard whoever on Boston. So as long as there's no foul trouble for PJ Tucker, I expect him to play as many minutes as he can handle. I would not be surprised if he plays 35 to 40 minutes in this game, which I think makes him a good value for that reason. The only concern you have to deal with Tucker is potential foul trouble. Now, Gabe Vincent, as I mentioned, this is solely dependent on Lowry. If Lowry plays, no interest in Vincent. If Lowry misses, I do think you can play Gabe Vincent. Played 27 minutes last game. He's actually a solid defender for a guard as well. Not going to be a super productive player, but I think we would probably get 20 to 25 minutes from Vincent, which at this price point makes him firmly in play on the showdown. But other than that, I don't know why Mulder and Javonte Smart are priced higher than Dwayne Dedmon because they haven't touched the court in months, but okay. And then, Dwayne Dedmon at 2K. So it's going to be interesting. Are they going to use him as the backup 5 here, or do they go a little bit small? Because we saw in the Atlanta series, they started off with him playing the backup 5. And then down the stretch, he like barely played. So again, do they need Dedmon in this Boston series? I'm not sure. Obviously, they needed him to throw some minutes on Joel Embiid. I don't necessarily know if they need him here against Boston. So a little bit concerned about the Dedmon minutes. If I knew for sure he was going to play, 10 to 15 minutes, he would stand out as one of the better values in the slate. I'm not convinced we're going to get those minutes. So again, there is some risk there. And then if they do go small, maybe a guy like Martin gets a little bit of run at 1K. I know he hasn't played much recently, but if they do kind of limit Dedmon's minutes, maybe you get 10 to 15 minutes out of Martin. But you got to realize if you do play Martin, there's still a decent chance he gets a DNP. So that's really it. And you can tell, right? There's just not a lot of value on the showdown slate. So, but yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, we have some good size content in DraftKings. Super, super excited. I got 150K up top. Like I said, it is showdown season. Hoping to keep the hot streak going here in NBA DFS. But other than that, guys, really appreciate all the support. Thanks again. Make sure just to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoy. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.